You walk into Jiffy Lube thinking you're just getting a quick oil change, and 45 minutes later, they're telling you that you need a transmission flush, new air filters, and something called a fuel system cleaning for $1,200. Sound familiar? If you're over 60, you're 3 times more likely to get hit with these scams than younger drivers. I've been wrenching on cars for 27 years, and I'm about to expose the mechanic chains that are specifically targeting seniors with unnecessary services, fake diagnostics, and outright lies. Stay with me, because at the end, I'll reveal the only 2 chains you can actually trust with your vehicle. Number 11. Midas. You remember those commercials, right? Trust the Midas touch. Well, that golden touch has tarnished badly. What Midas does is genius if you're a scammer and evil if you're a customer. They know seniors often drive older cars with higher mileage, so they've trained their staff to push what they call preventive maintenance packages. Sounds responsible until you realize these packages include services your car doesn't need for another 30,000 miles. Had a 72-year-old woman come to my shop after Midas quoted her $2,800 for brake work on her 2012 Camry with 61,000 miles. They showed her rusty brake components and said it was dangerous to drive. I put that car on my lift, and those brakes had at least 40% pad life left. The rotors were fine. Total scam. When I called the manager to ask why they were fear-mongering an elderly customer, he hung up on me. That tells you everything. The worst part is how they exploit trust. Seniors grew up in an era when mechanics were honest neighborhood guys who'd tell you straight. Midas uses that nostalgia against you with their old-school branding while running a modern con. They'll show you dirty air filters that came from someone else's car, or point to normal surface rust and call it a safety hazard. And because many seniors don't have someone to verify these claims, they pay up out of fear. Number 10. Pep Boys. This chain has mastered the art of the upsell through intimidation. Their mechanics aren't paid hourly, they're on commission. That means every service they sell, you puts money in their pocket. Guess what happens when profits depend on scaring customers? You get diagnosed with problems that don't exist. Customer brought in his 2015 F-150 with 94,000 miles. After Pep Boys told him his steering system was failing, and he needed $1,700 in repairs immediately. They said his truck was unsafe to drive. I test drove it, checked the steering components, measured the tie rod ends, inspected the ball joints. Everything was tight and functioning perfectly, not even close to needing replacement. What Pep Boys showed him was normal wear that wouldn't need attention for another 50,000 miles minimum. Here's their playbook. They target vehicles between 8 and 15 years old because that's what most retirees drive. Paid off, reliable, but old enough to have some normal wear they can exaggerate. They'll rock your wheel back and forth and say they feel looseness when there's just normal mechanical tolerance. They'll spray penetrating oil on your shocks and claim they're leaking. I've seen them take photos of someone else's rusted parts and show them to customers as proof. It's systematic fraud dressed up as professional service. Number 9. Firestone Complete Auto Care. The name sounds trustworthy because Firestone has been around since 1900. What they don't advertise is that they were also at the center of one of the biggest automotive safety scandals in history with their defective tires in 2000. That culture of putting profits over people never really left. Their current scam focuses on something called preventive flushes, transmission flush, coolant flush, brake flush, power steering flush, differential flush. They've got a flush for everything, and they'll tell you that manufacturer recommendations are outdated. Funny thing is, I've read hundreds of owners' manuals, and almost none of them recommend the aggressive flush intervals Firestone pushes. Had an 80-year-old man with a 2018 Honda Accord, 38,000 miles. Firestone told him his transmission fluid was burnt and contaminated, needed immediate flushing for $695, or his transmission would fail within months. He brought me the paperwork, confused because his car drove perfectly fine. I checked that transmission fluid myself. It was pink, clean, smelled fine, and the Honda manual says it's good for 90,000 miles under normal use. Firestone straight up lied to create a sale. They know seniors are worried about breakdowns, especially if they live alone or have health issues. That fear is a goldmine for unethical shops. They'll use technical language that sounds scary, show you fluid on a rag, and claim it's contaminated when it's just dark from normal use, and pressure you to make immediate decisions. That last part is crucial because they don't want you going home and asking your kids or looking up the actual service interval online. Number 8. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You'd think a place that only does oil changes would be safer, right? Wrong. These quick lube joints have perfected the add-on scam. You come in for a $29 oil change and leave having spent $200 because they convinced you that your car desperately needs their premium services. Their favorite target is the cabin air filter. They'll pull it out, bang it against the wall to make dust fly everywhere, hold it up to the light and say it's restricting your airflow, and could be making you sick. Sounds terrifying, especially to seniors worried about respiratory health. Reality is, a slightly dirty cabin filter is normal and harmless. You can buy a replacement at any auto parts store for $12 and snap it in yourself in 30 seconds. Valvoline charges $45 to $60 for the same filter, but here's where it gets worse. I've documented cases where Valvoline employees damage vehicles during service, then blame the customer's lack of maintenance. One customer's oil drain plug was stripped by an undertrained technician who over-tightened it. When oil started leaking, Valvoline claimed the threads were already damaged and tried to charge her $350 to repair their own mistake. She was 76 and didn't know any better until her grandson got involved. The business model is speed over quality. These techs are pushed to complete services in under 15 minutes. That means rushed work, missed problems, and constant pressure to sell unnecessary extras. I've seen oil filters installed incorrectly, drain plugs left loose, and air filters not even replaced after charging for the service. You're not getting care, you're getting processed. Number 7. AAMCO Transmissions. If there's a Hall of Fame for automotive scams, AAMCO deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award. Their entire business model is built on one premise. Transmissions are mysterious and expensive, so we can tell you anything and you'll believe it. Here's how the con works. You bring your car in for a free diagnosis because your transmission is slipping or shifting hard. They'll keep your car for hours, sometimes overnight, then hit you with a quote between $3,000 and $6,000 for a complete rebuild. They'll use terms like burnt clutch packs, damaged planetary gears, worn valve body. Sounds legitimate until you get a second opinion and find out you just needed a fluid change and a software update. Woman in her late 60s brought me paperwork from AAMCO quoting $5,200 to rebuild the transmission in her 2016 Equinox with 71,000 miles. They told her the transmission was destroyed, and she was lucky it hadn't left her stranded. I scanned that vehicle and found a software glitch causing delayed shifts. GM had issued a technical service bulletin for it. The fix was a free software flash at the dealer that took 20 minutes. No mechanical repairs needed. AAMCO knew this and quoted a full rebuild anyway. They prey on the fact that most people, especially seniors, don't understand transmissions. It's the most expensive repair on a car, so the fear factor is massive. They'll show you metal shavings in the pan and call it catastrophic damage when some debris is completely normal. They'll claim your transmission is full of burnt fluid when it's just aged. And they'll push you to decide immediately, often offering financing, because they know most seniors can't drop $5,000 on the spot. Number 6, Mavis Discount Tire. Tires are another area where seniors get targeted because the safety implications are real. Mavis has turned this into an art form. They'll measure your tread depth, which is good practice, but then they'll lie about what the numbers mean. Had a 74-year-old customer panicked because Mavis told him his tires were bald and illegal to drive on. They said police could ticket him, and if he had an accident, his insurance wouldn't cover it because of the tire condition. They quoted him $890 for 4 new tires installed that day. He drove straight to my shop, terrified he was breaking the law. I measured his tires. They had 5 30 seconds of tread left. Legal minimum is 2 30 seconds. Those tires were fine for at least another year of his light driving. Mavis also runs the alignment scam. They'll put your car on the rack, come back with a printout showing red numbers everywhere, and say your alignment is dangerously off. Most seniors don't know that many vehicles can't even be aligned in the rear, or that those red numbers might be within acceptable tolerance. They just see red and hear dangerous and pay the $179 for an alignment their car didn't need. The tire industry has huge profit margins, and shops like Mavis know that seniors tend to buy based on fear rather than shopping around. They'll skip explaining that your current tires are safe. They'll pressure you toward premium brands when mid-range would be fine. And they'll add nitrogen fill, road hazard warranties, and other markups that sound important but aren't necessary. Number 5. Christian Brothers Automotive. Oh, this one makes me angry. They literally put Christian in the name to build trust with religious seniors who think faith-based businesses are more honest. It's emotional manipulation at its finest. Their scam is the righteousness upsell. They'll fix what you came in for, but then they'll present you with a detailed inspection report showing yellow and red items that need attention. They frame it as being honest and thorough, looking out for your safety like a good Christian neighbor would. Problem is, most of those yellow and red items are either bogus or wildly exaggerated. Customer brought her 2017 Subaru Outback to Christian Brothers for an oil change. They gave her a 12-point inspection and found $1,600 in needed repairs. Leaking valve cover gasket, worn sway bar links, deteriorating motor mount, contaminated brake fluid. She's a 79-year-old widow on a fixed income and the service advisor told her these repairs were important for her safety and peace of mind. I inspected that Subaru top to bottom. Bone-dry valve covers, tight sway bar links, solid motor mounts, brake fluid, tested perfectly clean. They fabricated problems to sell services. Using faith as a marketing tool while running scams is particularly disgusting. They know many seniors will trust a business that shares their values and won't question the diagnosis. It's predatory in the worst way. Number 4. Monroe Auto Service and Tire Centers. Monroe operates under multiple names, including Mr. Tire and Tire Choice, which lets them dodge bad reputations in different markets. Their corporate training literally includes scripts for creating urgency around repairs that can wait. They love the suspension scam. Shocks, struts, springs, control arms, bushings. They'll bounce your car up and down, point to completely normal movement, and say your suspension is shot. Then they'll quote you $2,200 to $3,500 for a complete suspension overhaul. Gentleman with a 2014 Malibu, 86,000 miles, went to Monroe for new tires. They came back saying his front struts were blown and his rear shocks were leaking. The car was unsafe, and they couldn't in good conscience mount new tires without fixing the suspension first. Total quote was $3,100. He called his son, who brought the car to me. Those struts and shocks were functioning perfectly. No leaks, no excessive bounce, no bottoming out. Completely normal for the mileage. Monroe's business model depends on selling major repairs to customers who came in for minor services. They know if they can get you in the door for a tire rotation, they've got a captive audience to pitch expensive work. And seniors, especially those who remember when cars actually needed frequent repairs, are more likely to believe that vehicles require constant major maintenance. Number 3, Grease Monkey. Despite the playful name, there's nothing fun about how this chain operates. They've been caught multiple times in local news investigations for bait and switch pricing and unnecessary services. Their particular specialty is the engine treatment scam. They'll put a bore scope camera into your engine, show you carbon buildup on the valves, which exists in literally every direct injection engine, and tell you it's choking your motor. The solution is their 5-stage engine cleaning service for anywhere from $400 to $900, depending on how scared you look. Truth is, that carbon buildup is normal, and unless your car is misfiring or running rough, it's not hurting anything. Customer with a 2019 Toyota Highlander, 41,000 miles, got the full scare treatment at Grease Monkey. They showed her dark brown oil on the dipstick and said her engine was full of sludge from short trips and needed immediate cleaning, or she'd destroy the motor. They wanted $725 for their premium engine flush package. That oil was just dark from normal use. Her engine was clean inside. I pulled the valve cover to prove it. No sludge, no buildup, just a normal low-mileage engine that they tried to con her into a $700 service for. Number 2, Precision Tune Auto Care. This chain has refined the diagnostic fee scam. They advertise free check engine light diagnosis to get you in the door. But once they scan your car, they'll claim the problem requires extensive testing that costs money. Then they'll find issues that don't exist. Their techs are trained to sell services in bundles. You came in for a check engine light, but you're leaving with a quote for ignition system service, fuel system cleaning, and throttle body service totaling over $1,000. They make it sound like everything is connected to your original problem, when really they're just stacking unnecessary services. Couple in their 70s brought me estimates from Precision Tune after their check engine light came on. Precision quoted them $1,800 for coil packs, spark plugs, fuel injector cleaning, and throttle body service. I scanned their 2016 Accord. It was a simple evaporative emissions code caused by a loose gas cap. Free fix. Precision Tune knew this and quoted $1,800 in work anyway. Number 1, Jiffy Lube. The worst of the worst. This chain has been exposed so many times in undercover investigations for fraudulent practices that it's amazing they're still in business. Hidden cameras have caught Jiffy Lube employees not changing oil filters they charged for, not replacing air filters they said they installed, and deliberately damaging vehicles to create repair sales. Their favorite senior scam is the severe service interval con. They'll look up your car and say that because of your driving conditions, dusty roads, short trips, extreme temperatures, you need oil changes every 3,000 miles instead of the manufacturer's recommended 7,500. Then they'll sell you synthetic oil you don't need for twice the price of conventional. 83-year-old man came to me, confused, because Jiffy Lube told him his 2020 Camry needed synthetic oil changes every 3,000 miles at $89.99 each. Toyota specifies 10,000 miles with conventional oil for his model and driving. Jiffy Lube was trying to more than triple his annual oil change costs for no reason except profit. I've personally seen engines damaged by Jiffy Lube's incompetence, drain plugs stripped from impact guns, oil filters that fell off because they weren't tightened, transmissions destroyed because someone put fluid in the wrong place. They hire inexperienced kids, give them minimal training, and push them to work fast and sell hard. The results are catastrophic. So after all that darkness, here's the light. 2 chains you can actually trust. Number 2, Costco Tire Center. They only do tires and batteries, but they do them honestly. No commission sales, transparent pricing, and they won't try to sell you services you don't need. I've never had a customer complain about being scammed at Costco. They test your battery, tell you honestly if it's weak or fine, and if you need tires, they show you options without pressure. Number 1, Discount Tire, also called America's Tire. This is the gold standard. They sell tires and do basic services, but their entire culture is built on honesty. They'll patch your tire for free even if you didn't buy it there. They'll tell you when your tires are fine instead of pushing new ones. I've sent countless seniors to Discount Tire knowing they'll be treated fairly. If you're over 60 and you've been scammed by any of these chains, you're not alone and it's not your fault. These companies build their business models on exploiting trust and fear. Protect yourself by always getting second opinions on repairs over $500 and stick with the honest shops. Your car and your wallet will thank you.